Bhagavad Gita teaches you to be an objective person, totally objective, not confused about reality. To just deal with your anger or some very deep personal issues, you can have some better methods. If that is the case, what is Gita for?
We are a mixed group of people brought together by the Bhagavad Gita in Bangkok. We met for a series of lectures every Sunday by Neema Majmudar, a friend of ours, at her house. She is an economist with the UN here and shared her knowledge of the Gita and interpretation of some of the chapters with us. The Bhagavad Gita is often seen as a distant, holy book for the spiritually inclined, but in this informal setting, Neema was able to make it talk to us, revealing thoughtful, positive ways of addressing important questions in our own lives. Though, of course, that did not stop us from raising many questions during the lectures.
Okay, the question is actually to ask you to repeat to continue what you were saying before, is that, for example, if we have financial crisis or political crisis in the world, and instead of being, oh, I'm limitless, I don't have to do anything with it, how do we look at this problem correctly and as an individual who has a broader view of what's happening?
There is no one response to any event in the world which every individual should have. In fact, the response to any event, including the financial crisis that you are talking about, would depend upon where you are placed in scheme of things. If you are in a developing country, just an employee somewhere, your response is very different from you're in a developed country, and in the developed country also, where is it that you are? If you're in a Wall Street and if you're a CEO, your response has to be different from if you're the government official. So therefore, you cannot categorically say that this should be the response, but you can tell what is the right way of looking at things, what is the right framework which you can use regardless of the situation that you are in to arrive at the appropriate response. One thing that you must understand, that generally when we make decisions, we assess the situations only from our own standpoint, and we try to maximize our own benefit. We don't look at different people who are involved in the situations and the repercussions that our actions are going to have on them. The more you are able to consider that, the better decisions you make. And this is exactly what was told to Arjuna. Arjuna was looking at the situation where he had to make the decision. Initially, he wanted to fight because he wanted to take the revenge for everything that he thought was totally wrong. Later on, so that means his response to the situation was based on what he was going through, which is his feeling of sense of being wronged. Later on, he wanted not to fight because he was reassessing the situation, again looking at it from his own standpoint, and he was saying, my God, how can he be happy killing his own people? Both the decisions were wrong. Why? Because both were taken considering only his own situation. What happened to be the right decision was when he looked at the fact that he was the warrior, he was placed in this situation where he was wronged, but he was taking the decision not only for himself, but looking at if he lets the person who has taken the kingdom through wrong means to rule the kingdom, how many people who are his subjects would then have to suffer from the king who has been given all the power and who does not have appropriate intentions. So the repercussion of that decision of letting somebody who is corrupt to be the king, and the effect it is going to have on all the different subjects, that was the right decision, because it was taking into consideration not only his own position but also the position of everybody else involved, and in light of considering the position of everybody else, what was the right thing to do. So for any decision, one needs to take care of different aspects, including the effects of one's actions on other people. This is how you arrive at appropriate decisions.
Okay, I wanted to ask you a question. Between psychology and the Gita, you said if there was, you could go to a psychologist and have the individual questions answered. But I'm also thinking on another aspect. What if people who don't have access to psychologists, and the way you've explained the Gita, to me it would feel that even coming to listen to even lectures on the Gita should give you clarity of mind, should start giving you answers to help with the issues. So my question is, or my statement is that I think the Gita should help the individual themselves also without the psychology sometimes. What do you think?
Definitely, Gita helps you to deal with your anger, with your fears, your control issues. It helps in many, many different areas of your being. The point is, that is not the only use of Gita. What Gita has to show is a totally different vision of who you are. What you are, according to Bhagavad Gita, is the limitless self. That is a total paradigm shift in your understanding of yourself. It also makes you look into what is your relationship with the universe, with the cause of the universe. These are very fundamental questions of existence. Having shown a much bigger picture, which is so fundamentally different from the way you have been living your life, it also gives you some amazing understanding about certain issues with reference to your life, which enable you to live your life effectively. It shows you how to handle your desires, what are the criteria that you use to make choices of actions, how do you respond to situations when they don't exactly happen according to your wishes. It also shows you how to deal with your issues of anger, the fear, and all the other burdens that you're carrying in your life, which are something that you're carrying from long time. Okay, so it is it's somehow a vision which is all encompassing. It deals with smaller issues of day-to-day living, and it also has a vision which is something which transforms your living. So it's a complete kind of a teaching. It deals with various aspects which are meant to enrich a person's life and totally transforms one's equation of existence.